Hey everyone, happy first day of real summer in Portland, Oregon. PBR, #1 selling beer in Portland, Oregon, or as I like to refer to it as punk rock champagne. Anyway, instead of being outside enjoying the sun and working on my tan, or getting the yard work done that I really need to get done, I'm in here talking about Cannibal Holocaust. I'm sure most of you have seen this movie. If you haven't, you need to see it probably as soon as you can. If you really want to consider yourself a fan of the horror genre. It's just one of those movies that is required viewing. Up until this 1995 Grindhouse releasing version, it was kind of considered to be the holy grail of bootlegs, and I was fortunate enough to have a copy years and years and years prior to its actual official re-releasing, or releasing on DVD. And I was so proud of this movie, or the fact that I had it, because it proved that I was a hardcore, horror nut. That I used to actually host Cannibal Holocaust dinner parties where I would cook just not gross food, but food that looked questionable. And it was not really like dinner, but I'd have like guacamole and salsa like next to each other on a plate with blue corn chips, and just had the food set up so it looked rather, unappetizing, and gather my close friends together and screen this movie together. And it was really funny because the one thing that I noticed was that 9 times out of 10 when the movie was done, if there were people who had never seen it before, the #1 thing they would complain about was the animal cruelty scene. And I agree that that's one of the hardest aspects of this film for me to wrap my mind around, or to justify me enjoying this film, because it is hard to watch. Especially, I'm a person that I actually enjoy animals, or the presence of animals in my life much more than the presence of other humans for the most part. And so, it's always been my opinion that I think anyone who is deliberately cruel to an animal should probably just be shot in the face. I have zero tolerance for animal cruelty. So it's one thing that's, one aspect of this film. But fortunately, this particular video release at least has an animal cruelty version, or free version option on the menu. So you can actually watch it with that part removed. The thing that I find kind of funny about that, though, is that it still keeps intact the obvious graphic depiction of violence against other humans. And getting back to what I said was, what I found interesting about people complaining about the animal scene is they would complain about that, but they wouldn't really mention the fairly uncomfortable rape scene of the native girl. And the reason that I bring that scene up as opposed to the much more graphic depictions of violence against the other characters is the other characters, in my opinion, deserved their comeuppance. They deserved the treatment that they got from, they were outsiders invading these native people and their culture and did things to violate their culture. And so they pretty much deserved what they got. So I don't really feel badly for the other characters or what was hoisted upon them by the tribesmen. But this movie is really unique in being, it's one of the forerunners of the whole found footage phenomenon that we're seeing now, done much less effectively now, well, with a couple of exceptions. But it was done in that Mondo kind of style, and it just makes it a really intriguing film to watch. It's still a really entertaining film to watch. I've seen it so many times that I haven't really screened it for over a year, and I probably need to go back and do that, but believe me, I know every inch of this film, and I just love it. But I love it equally as much as I also love Cannibal Ferox, and I know that a lot of times horror fans fall into two camps, the ones that think Cannibal Ferox was better and the ones that think Cannibal Holocaust was better. I personally put them on an equal playing field as far as the effectiveness of the shocks and the gore and depictions of violence. I enjoy them both equally. I think Cannibal Ferox and Cannibal Holocaust have a different feel. Cannibal Holocaust definitely has a much more kind of real feel to it as opposed to Cannibal Ferox, just because they utilize the whole found footage kind of thing. But just really, really interesting film to watch the natives like munching on those bones with the bits of like animal innards or something. I don't know, whatever they used as the prop food was just, it worked so well to turn your stomach that my only caveat is that if I pretty much would only recommend this film to hardcore gore whores as opposed to just the casual horror movie kind of buff or fan, because this movie has to be appreciated on different levels. And so yeah, I would hesitate to recommend this movie to just someone who says, oh yeah, Halloween's a great movie, Friday the 13th was great, you know, I liked Scream, you know, this kind of, this movie definitely is more for the hardcore people that appreciate like Italian splatter and giallo and all just Lucio Fulci's stuff that gets a little bit more gritty, because it's a gritty film. It's a pretty gritty. It's an uncomfortable ride, but for me, just being a part of my cinematic history and enjoyment, I really, truly, actually enjoy this film. So, once again, if you haven't seen Cannibal Holocaust, but you consider yourself a casual horror viewer, you know, proceed with caution. I don't expect you to like it or appreciate it or anything. If you are a hardcore horror fan, it's definitely required viewing, in my opinion. So yeah, feel free to share your thoughts on Cannibal Holocaust in the comments section below. I love getting your guys' comments. If you haven't seen it before and this spurs you to see it, then share your thoughts in the comments section as well, and let me know, you know, how you feel about the classic Cannibal Holocaust.